Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes, and we're going to go through the looking glass, environmentally speaking, climate change, because something has happened that's rocking the world. It's always a problem, isn't it? Facts basically don't care what your opinions are. Your opinions are worthless. Not your opinions. I mean, my opinions. Everybody's opinions generally are worthless in the face of facts. It doesn't matter what you believe. Reality is this. Now, you can believe in reality. Excellent. If you believe in something that is not reality, then seek help. Now, towards the end of the year, back in December, towards the end of December, there was a tropical storm by the name of Chido. Chido made landfall in Mayo, I believe it's pronounced, or Mayotte, in Mozambique. I think it's Mayo because Mozambique's French-speaking place. So I think it's Mayo. Anyway, in Mozambique. And then it went inland. It caused considerable damage. It killed over 100 people. I mean, it was a tragedy. It was a human tragedy. And it caused, like I say, an awful lot of damage for the infrastructure of Mozambique. You would not have known it had happened, though. It was very, very sparsely reported because these things happen a long way away. I mean, had it happened on Brighton Beach, you most certainly would have heard about it, but it didn't. It was halfway around the world. Whatever. But within days of this happening, of course, the great green blob sprung into action. And it was starting apportioning blame. There's a think tank called Carbon Brief. It's one of those great, again, green blob funded things. And they were saying, oh, well, this is only to be expected, blah, blah, blah. We have long suggested that climate change will lead to an increase in tropical storms. And by tropical storms, that particular thing was a tropical storm. You have, what do you call them? There's cyclones, was it cyclones, hurricanes, and typhoons? They're all tropical storms. And I just think it's geographically. If it's in the Pacific, it's a typhoon. If it's in the Indian, it's a cyclone. And if it's in the Atlantic, it's a hurricane. But they are all the same thing. But they've predicted this, and they said, oh, well, all this climate change that's happening, blah, 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 blah. It will increase the number. It'll increase the severity, right? They'll be saying that. Now, there's a group at Imperial College called Weather Watch Alliance or some such thing. World Weather Alliance, that's it. They also made this near instant, didn't even look at the data, just came out and instantly said, oh, well, we made this prediction that there'll be a 40% increase in tropical storms over the next 30 years. This is proving us right. We said 2 years ago that there's going to be a tropical storm on the coast of Mozambique within the next 2 years. Well, let me tell you, these things happen all the time. It's like me predicting, oh, today somebody will buy an orange. It's the same value of that. However, I mean, to be honest, even the Guardian chipped in. I think the Guardian did a little story about this. We told you so. Climate change and all that bollocks. Anyway, however, amongst all this miasma, if you will, of fear, uncertainty, and doubt being pushed by the green blob, there was in the middle of it a lovely little acorn of truth growing up through the bullshit. I mean, the bullshit was feeding this, but the little acorn of truth grew, and it's starting to rise into a mighty oak because the truth is being known. Because in the magazine Nature, which, for those who don't know, is probably one of the highest regarded scientific journals in the world, nothing gets into Nature that it isn't checked, rechecked, triple checked, backed up, rigorously examined. No room for doubt. But it was published in Nature. Therefore, it can be read as being scientific fact. This is how it works. And what did this little article show? Well, the prediction of an increase in the number and the severity of tropical storms turns out to be not as accurate as the doom and gloom mongers of the green blob would have us believe, because this article showed these scientists had looked at years of data. 30 years of data, and analysed it and produced the graphs and done the numbers and run it through the computer and arrived at a result. They then interpreted that result and they are now ready to publish, and so they did. Over the last 30 years, there has been not an increase, but a decrease in both the number of tropical storms and their severity. This goes absolutely 100% against the complete bullshittery and bollockry that governments, NCOs, the mainstream media, academia, everyone with a financial vested interest is telling us. Everyone with a financial vested interest in scaring us over climate is telling us things are getting worse. So it comes as a bit of a shock when the truth comes out and said, actually, no, it's getting better. There's not as many storms. They're not as intense. Now, they're trying to rubbish and ridicule this. The Green Blob is already trying to rubbish and ridicule this article in Nature, but Nature are standing by it, and they're saying that any scientist who can look at this data impassionately and come to any other conclusion other than the conclusion published in Nature is biased and is probably in the pocket of somebody or other. And now that is a big claim to make, and I think that there's some truth to it. Never these days, or at least rarely ever, does the truth on this magnitude about this particular subject ever get published. But Nature are adamant this is real. They consider what these scientists have done and the methodology and the data. So they say, well, the data is all freely available. Every country in the world publishes, or more or less every country in the world publishes these data, or this data. They have got that data, they've analysed it, and they've shown it, and they've got the records. And this is the thing. It doesn't matter what your worthless opinion is. Not in the face of facts. And as my old science teacher used to say, facts don't give a fuck about what you think. Frank Close, physics professor, great guy. Anyway, downward trend. Getting better, not worse. Well done. Now, let's convince them all to stop lying to us. We know they're lying. Every time now they open their mouth and go on about climate this and climate that, and climate something else, all you're going to hear now is bullshit, 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 bollocks. Thanks a lot. Bye.